never met a leader who doesn't agree with the kind of the broad view of treating people like people, right? So if I were to sit down with 100 leaders and ask, is it important as a leader to be an effective leader to care about the humans that you lead?
Yeah. No brainer.
100% of them say absolutely.
Right.
And then just observing that and going through my education and recognizing that everybody agrees with this, but I'd say a high percentage, 85% or more, then turn around and kind of piss on the human experience the next day at work. And that creates a dissonance in me. Like, what the heck is happening
Yeah. Do you
here?
feel like that's intentional or unintentional?
Absolutely not. And I think that's what I've come to understand is that the majority of leaders are unintentionally wrecking the human experience. They don't even know it's happening. There's very few percentage of leaders that are maliciously targeting, micromanaging, competing, like very few percent. The large percentage of this that is damaging to the human experience in a team is pure ignorance. And I mean that in the most clinical way.
Yeah.
We just don't know.
Yeah.
And so me being me, I'm thinking, how do we know? Is there a way to know? What are we trying to know? And how do we measure it if we know what we're trying to know?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That was a lot of knowing.
No, right. Know what we're trying to know. How do we know it? What do we know? Yeah. So when it comes to this leader evaluation, can you describe a little bit, like, what is that measuring? Like, what is that?
Yeah. So what we're trying to discover and doing successfully is subconscious influence to one's leadership. And so the intent is to bring in to the known what is unknown to the individual. And so oftentimes I would say, if you were to interview a team, the unknown to the leader is known to the team. Right. So you kind of start into this a little bit like a hint to the Johari window kind of a thing, right? Where how do we bring what the team knows into the conscious of what the leader is aware of?
Yeah.
So that behavioral change that's meaningful to the healthy human experience can happen. And so, again, it kind of started with, which we've talked about. I have 2 master's degrees in leadership, my doctoral coursework done in leadership. I've focused a lot on leadership, and then recognizing in that process that there's this variance. So many people say yes, 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 and then turn around and do the opposite. And so in that, it's like, well, where's that coming from? And that the importance of what got me here is relative to where I started, which is way, way off of leadership.
Yeah. When you mention subconscious things that are happening that an individual may or may not be aware of even, I mean, those things, could those stem from things like trauma, how you were raised, prior experiences, lived experiences that are operating, at that subconscious level.
Yeah. And that's really what kind of that married the 2 thoughts, right? So I'm getting my education in leadership, but I have a history of addiction and recovery. More importantly, a history of recovery.
Right.
In recovery, I had to wrestle down some things. And so it's relative to understand where I began in my journey with addiction is at the age of 15, I was sexually assaulted by a male. Okay. So in that there becomes a trauma moment that begins to offer me opportunities. And I made choices based on those opportunities that led me to 13-year battle with addiction. Okay. So in that process, I had to work back through all of the things, because 13 years later, when I entered recovery, this beginning instance was super present in my mind. I hadn't forgotten it.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. But a lot had happened between then and recovery. And so you start in recovery and you work back and you learn principles along the way about what recovery is and what the reality of someone struggling with addiction or life controlling behavior brings. And one of those principles, Erica, you've probably heard, it's a pretty popular one-liner, and it's hurting people hurt people. Right. So
Yep.
this is relatively popular, and recognizing in my recovery, one of the hardest parts of recovering for me was recognizing that statistically, because of what happened to me when I was 15 years old, I had a higher probability of becoming a sexual predator. Like, that's hard to reconcile
Right.
for someone who lived through the hell of sexual assault and think, I have a higher probability to be a sexual predator for real.
Right.
Like, I'm more capable than someone else to put someone through the hell of that because I experienced it. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
Right. And so statistically, that's true. So if you research abuse, for example, emotional, mental, verbal, physical, and sexual abuse as a whole, then people that have been abused are up to 6 times more likely to become an abuser.
Right.
And that's a pretty egregious thing, right? It's, you don't look at that logically and go, oh, that makes sense. No, it doesn't make sense. And if you think it makes sense, you've probably never been abused, right? Because, again, I have been abused. And I look at that and go, how is that possible? And I think that's when that reality met the dissonance I'm experiencing by watching leaders agree, say the right things, even teach the right things. Some of my professors, and then turn around and do something that damages the human experience.
Yeah.
It kind of harkened back to this idea that hurting people hurt people.
Yeah.
So that's where it kind of started, is if that can be true, that an abused person is up to 6 times more likely to become an abuser, then how much more true is it possible that my experiences from my parents, my coaches, my teachers, my supervisors up to this point are influencing subconsciously the way that I lead people.
Right.